Byron, New York, a rural community here in Genesee County, depends highly on the agriculture industry as its means of economic stability. Established in 1820, Byron, named after Lord Byron of England, was a stopping point for the earliest of English and German settlers, and since then has accumulated quite a history, enriched with tradition that has been carried on by some prominent and very hard-working individuals over the years. Byron historian Dora Jones is an instrumental part of the Byron Historical Society, an organization of approximately 45 dedicated individuals.
Well, we hope to preserve Byron history, and that is why we have worked so hard on this, and it's interesting because a lot of people do come back and look for traces of their past, you know, that we've preserved in some way or another. Well, the museum was originally a German Lutheran church, and that was organized in May of 1887, and it served the congregation until 1967. At that point there were only 19 people, and they disbanded and gave it to the town of Byron, and it was to be used as a museum and cared for and operated by the Byron Historical Society. There are people that have lived here at one time or another and moved away. We have more people that come who are away, and we have people right in Byron who haven't been in the museum, and that's what we're trying to get an interest in.
The Byron Museum is open Sunday afternoons from Memorial Day through Labor Day, 2 to 4:30 p.m., and also by appointment if necessary. In the last few years, the Byron area has received much national attention with the Mastodon dig, reaching even deeper into the history of this area. A diverse group of explorers comprised of geologists, students, and local volunteers from the Byron-Batavia area have been joining efforts 3 weeks out of the year with hopes of opening new doors to treasures tracing back to the end of the Ice Age. For 6 years now, many relics have been found, enough to keep geologists busy for a century, claims Richard Lobb from the Buffalo Museum of Science.
The first things that were found here were the bones of mastodons, which are extinct Ice Age elephant-like animals, and deer. Since then we found tools of early people, bones of a California condor, which was quite a surprise, and the remains of about 55 different types of animals, some of them as yet unidentified, plus very well preserved plant remains and other archaeological artifacts. We had known that there was a quote Byron mastodon because in 1959 the museum had come out to investigate bones found here by the owner of the land, Mr. Charles Hiscock, when he was trying to widen the vent of a spring. He was always very interested in seeing that the work here continued, and well, the land here remains in the hands of his family, and they've given every indication that we can count on continuing to work here as long as they have anything to say about it.
Even more importantly, Byron is known for its significant contribution to the agriculture industry. By innovating modern farming techniques, Byron has been able to make a significant impact on agriculture in Genesee County, New York State, nationally, and throughout the world. Because of their beet crop, Elbrook Farms in Byron stands apart from the rest.
I guess the thing that sets us apart maybe from the norm would be the percentage of our acreage that is in red beets. We grow just under 1,000 acres. This year we will have that many. And 70% of those go to the local processor, Comstock Foods, which is a division of Curtis Burns. And all of our sweet corn and all of our peas go to Comstock as well. I guess the national production for beets, red beets, was about 175,000 tons. And based on that, we grow about 6 to 8% of the nation's beets. And on a statewide basis, it's about 44,000 tons. And we grow about 27% of the state's beets here.
Also in Byron is Byron Enterprises. Starting as a business to keep farm employees busy during the winter, Byron Enterprises has grown substantially and has emerged as probably the world's largest manufacturer of processing sweet corn machinery.
When the sweet corn harvesting, at one time we had 93% of the market share. We've had a couple other people come in and join us as competitors, if you will, and I would guesstimate only at this point we have about 85% of the market share of the processing sweet corn in the world. We have machines in New Zealand and Australia and Europe, and we're international also. Many of our employees are local Byron people. We have people from the outlying towns, Attica, Varysburg, around. We have hired from out of state. We have graduate engineers, we have high school education people, and we have some that, that we've trained how to read drawings ourselves. We encourage night school. We've sent our people to GCC in fairly large groups to learn things that apply to their job, and we do support it by paying tuition.
Another thing Byron can be very proud of is social growth. The recently constructed Gillum Grant Center in 1974 has had a tremendous positive impact on the community. Executive Director of the center, Bill Ferris, was responsible for the building construction and the design of its programming concepts.
It was the brainstorm of Miss Margaret Gillum many years back. The money was made by her brother, who was a very wealthy individual, born and raised in Byron. Made his wealth through International Harvester and other companies back in the 30s. But her idea was that the rural community needed some kind of a library or a center to bring people together.
Through this facility, many innovative programs have surfaced, benefiting the youth and the senior citizens as well. And not only has it had an effect on one community, but also two.
When I got here, I noticed that there was a couple different municipalities with a great deal of rivalry. Separate post offices, separate fire companies. And what we found out was we had to break down those barriers. The school had done it educationally, but to do it socially was something else. And so from the grassroots up, we designed our programming to unite people together. It's funny to see senior citizens who hadn't seen each other since high school. But we've been successful in bringing people together socially and helping break down some of those barriers.
Harold Austin is the fire chief of Byron's Volunteer Fire Department, a group of dedicated men and women striving to preserve and enhance the quality of life in Byron.
Okay, it was a westbound train going up through, whether it was a hot box or what it was. We're not sure, and I don't know as Conrail is either, but it started out here in Byron and headed west towards Batavia, and as it, of course, it's uphill, so as it went up, it just spread sparks, and of course it was rather reasonably dry, so it just started all the grass and everything along the way.
With cable television, instructions and assistance of this kind can be seen directly in the homes throughout the community. Cablevision can play an integral part in educating the public about fire safety. For at Cablevision, we also strive to preserve and enhance the quality of life in our communities.
My name is Keith Hunt. I'm with the Genesee County Emergency Management Office. One of the functions of the Emergency Management Office is to assist in the coordination of activities in the time of disasters. One of those activities is the evacuation of people. Evacuating people is very difficult because it means moving large amounts of people in a short period of time. One of the best ways to announce evacuation and other emergency information is through the broadcast media. Our office is currently working with the officials at Cablevision in Batavia to work out details to utilize the public access channel to pass along emergency information about disasters and evacuations.
William Hayes, the superintendent at Byron Burgeon Central School, sees local cable television enhancing educational programs already designed for the students.
We have a number of programs right now that would be supplemented by cable. We have a film elective that if these kids could, in making their videos, could have an opportunity to air some of them, it would add an extra dimension to that program. We have a number of courses that deal with the electronics of television that could be supplemented by our own equipment and our own capabilities. And of course there's the programming that we could bring in. We're very excited about the possibility of cable coming.